Now we move on to our next guest, retired FBI Supervisory Special Agent of Joint Terrorism Task Force, Jack Jupin. Jack, we want to ask you about this. You've got some information we're hearing from a source on the ground about the investigation. What can you tell us from your source?
Yeah, what I can tell you right now, obviously Jason did a great job of reporting what he had to, and I understand the media's frustration of why they don't know everything. There's a reason for that. We don't tell you everything for a reason, because when we need to tell you something, we'll tell you something. When we don't, we don't. And there's a point to doing that, because you will compromise an investigation by going out there and telling everybody in the world what you found, what you're looking for, where you're going. Now, there are certain points, as we've already seen, where they put the picture of the Ring camera out there for people to look at. That's helpful. That's one of the things that law enforcement together, between the locals and the feds, jointly made that decision to put that picture out there. And you got to keep all that in mind. But my people on the ground are saying that they're pretty certain this is a very targeted kidnapping. They're telling me that they fear that there was some violence involved. Obviously, there's blood at the scene, but they're cautious in what they're saying. But they are talking to me directly and filling me in on what's been happening. And I understand their caution on why they're not saying too much, but this is what an investigation really looks like. And I've used the example before. We did the Exxon kidnapping years ago in the early 90s, and that took weeks. Doesn't happen overnight always. And unfortunately, that didn't work out well, but I've worked out many other investigations that do work out well. So, we hope and pray for the best. And we're going to continue to work together with our partners in law enforcement.
Sure. I want to ask you real quickly here about the DNA that was found on the glove, found at the property. Is it possible that these gloves were totally unrelated to the crime scene, and that's why they're saying there's no match, because they were able to lift DNA at the scene? That DNA did not match the glove. Is that the correct way to understand this, or is there some other interpretation here?
Well, it's a great question, by the way. There's two ways of looking at that. That could have been legitimately been a law enforcement officer who took off his gloves and dropped them. That could have been the case. Secondly, it could be the bad guy, right, in this case. And he or she has never been arrested, and we don't have their DNA. So it goes both ways on this one. It could be innocent. I mean, I don't know how many people are wearing gloves in Arizona right now based on the temperature. Obviously, when somebody's committing a crime, they're purposely wearing the gloves and the mask and the whole 9 yards. And the gloves appear to be the same. But you can't take anything for granted. You got to check everything. And it's unfortunately a long and painful thing to do.
Excellent insight. Jack Jupin, thank you for being here this afternoon.
My pleasure.